with former Notre Dame Fighting Irish and former San Francisco 49er defensive lineman Ian Williams. Ian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm glad that we're able to speak here on this Saturday. Another
Oh
blessed
yeah.
day, another day to wake up and but live. So pretty much before we get into football, I can see that you are working with the health care tech company. Can you go ahead and over that with us real quick? And what's the long-term goal of the product that you guys have in place as well, too?
Well, the long-term goal is to obviously be there and be about pretty much a.
Did I lose you? Hold on a moment.
And that'll be the thing that'll be going on, for a long time. Because if you start to think about um, where the product is going to be in 5 or 10 years, just being able to help certain athletes out, certain industries out, especially in the healthcare portion. Obviously it's going to be uh, a great product because it can help a lot of people. And with everything going on right now, I think it'll be obviously a product that is definitely going to be used more and more and more.
Okay, so Silver Clean, it seems like a very good product. And what, how long was the development for the product as well, too?
Say it again. You were kind of breaking up.
I said, how long was the development for the product Silver Clean that you're working with the Applied Silver Company?
All right. So the development, that took years in the making. Obviously, the CEO, Sean, he kind of thought about the actual idea back in college and started to formulate a plan and started to experiment and stuff like that. And then eventually it came to be for what it is right now. And it's a great product that's helping a lot of people in the healthcare industry and also in the sports industry, and hoping to spread into other sports also.
All right, good stuff, good stuff. Now let's get into you a little bit. How was your time at Notre Dame and coming out of the state of Florida as well, too?
It was, obviously a great transition to be able to go to such a great school and uh, get away from the heat and the humidity of Florida, and then be able to go up to Notre Dame and experience a different type of atmosphere. And looking back, it was one of the best decisions that I made because it prepared me and it challenged me, for what life truly brings at you. Once you actually step out to the real world and you're not playing sports anymore.
All right, and how was it playing for Charlie Weiss? You played up under Charlie Weiss, am I correct?
Yes.
How was that experience?
Charlie was great. Charlie was he was a great coach. He came down and recruited me hard, and back when I was in high school, and he had a great run in the NFL. Got him a couple of rings, and just a great offensive mind, especially at being a Notre Dame grad. It was fulfilling for him to be able to come back and coach his former team.
Okay, and what are your thoughts on this year's team, and do they have a shot at the national title?
Yeah, I think they got a shot. They're gonna have to play Clemson again in the AFC ACC championship, and now it's gonna be Notre Dame against Trevor Lawrence, so it's gonna be a fun game to watch. But I think they'll still be able to win that one and be able to go on to the playoff. And depending on who they play, they'll probably have to play Alabama again, which will be a great rematch from I think it's 2012, 2013. So I definitely think they got a chance.
Do you think the quarterback Ian Book's being a little overlooked? I haven't heard him in any Heisman consideration, but I would consider him for the Heisman just simply because he's a Notre Dame quarterback.
No, I mean he's been playing some great football these past few weeks, and his offensive coordinator Tommy Reese has done a great job with the play calling, and it's allowed Ian Book to play into his strengths, and you're starting to see that, and I think with the platform that Notre Dame gives you, he's definitely going to be in the argument for a Heisman or any other type of quarterback awards because he's playing such great football right now. He just needs to finish the season off strong.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So you were an undrafted free agent and you were picked up by the San Francisco 49ers. How was that experience and how was it playing for Jim Harbaugh as well, too?
Jim was cool. It was fun to be able to come out here and back in 2011 and start to learn from some great guys around the league. That ended up being on this one particular team, and it was just a great situation for me to learn and just be under a great coach and just a lot of players that played a lot of great football, and I was able to learn from. So it was just a great situation for me to be able to come into a situation like that.
And so you just mentioned this team, and I'm glad that we didn't get too far into it. How was it to be a part of that team, that great team that got to the Super Bowl, won the NFC Championship, and also had future Hall of Famer Patrick Willis, the middle linebacker there? How was it playing with Patrick Willis and being a part of that team as well, too?
Oh man, playing with those guys, it was fun. It just looking back at the times either in the meeting rooms or just outside of football, outside of the locker room, just being able to hang with the guys and uh, see what they do on a daily basis. And Patrick, he obviously brought it every Sunday, and he's up for the Hall of Fame for this year. So it's going to be great for him to hopefully get in this year, and just with the other guys that were in the locker room with me. We had so many great veteran players around there. It just the atmosphere was just on a different level because we had Patrick and Navarro and Dante and all these other guys, Frank Gore. So it was just it was a great atmosphere for us.
And Alden Smith was a teammate of yours as well. How was the experience like playing with him?
No, it was just to be able to watch Alden out there, you know, especially with how great his pass rush is. You really start to see what you know, terror or beast a guy can be when they really start to settle into their natural strengths, and that's what he was. He had so many gifts, and it just allowed him to blossom, especially playing next to Justin Smith that took a lot of double teams and allow Alden, especially in his rookie year, to get a lot of one-on-ones until teams started to recognize how well he was playing. But Alden's obviously gone through his ups and downs, and it's been really good to see him back out there playing good football because he could have been doing this um, you know at this type of level years ago. But I'm just glad he's out there, and I see nothing but you know positives coming back from him, and just watching the film on him. So it's been fun to see him back out there, even though I wish he was still in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. All time single season leader in sacks. Am I correct? I think 14 and a half in a year, rookie season. Yeah. So your thoughts on the 49ers having to play in Arizona due to the cover restrictions in Santa Clara? What's your thoughts
Uh,
on that?
uh, it, it's gonna be, a little difficult. Obviously it was this past week on Monday night playing against the Bills. It was a little difficult, but I feel like they'll adjust, and they got the one game out of their belts. They kind of dealt with playing down in L.A. and other places, so they'll have to just make it just like an away game. So it'll be all right for them. It's going to be more difficult for the logistics people and the equipment staff and all the other people gotta put everything together. You know, last second notice and make sure these guys are ready on Sundays because when they step out there Sunday against Washington, they're not going to care. They're still going to go out there and try to play winning football.
All right. And so let's get down to it, talking some football. So, what are the 49ers playoff chances moving forward? And do you believe they can sneak in with that extra playoff spot then now that they have for the wild card, the extra wild card spot now being the seventh seed?
Yeah, with the 49ers, their playoff chances obviously are gonna um, go down to what happens this weekend, and obviously the rest of this week, the season, because they have Washington this week. They got Dallas next week, and then they finish up the season with Arizona and Seattle. So they still have a chance to win those four NFC games and get back into playoffs and sneak back in there. Especially with the last two, being in your division that you can clinch and you handle business against the Rams. So it's just going to be crucial to start off uh, the rip of wins, this week, and can they get to the playoffs? Yes, they can. I feel like they're possibly going to get George Kittle back. Um, they're talking about bringing Jimmy G back, so it's going to be interesting if they pull off these next two wins and what the team's going to do once they have to play Arizona and Seattle at the end of the season.
And what are the keys to victory you're feeling like against the Redskins coming up today? Both teams are 5-7, and this is a crucial game for both of these squads. What are you thinking for the keys of victory for this one?
Keys to victory this week, Washington, especially if I'm talking for the 49ers, it's going to be key to be able to slow down and monitor Chase Young and Montez Sweat, those two guys on the edge for Washington. It's going to be a great matchup to see those two young guys against Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams. Let's see what the two veterans do against those two young guys. And then on defense, it's going to be it might be a tough game. DJ Jones isn't going to be out there. Their nose guard who usually starts and plays well against the run, and now you're going to have a lot of young guys in the interior defensive side. So with Washington, it could get a little frothy there, but Antonio Gibson's going to be out for this game, so I think they'll see more of J.D. McKissick and Peyton Barber. So it's going to be interesting to see, what Washington really does to attack the Niners. But I think for the Niners, obviously being able to slow down Terry McLaurin and get to Alex Smith, who's playing really good football right now, but he's still a pocket quarterback. So if you can get to him and limit his time in the pocket, you're definitely going to be very successful.
And so you just brought up Alex Smith, perfect, because that was my next question. What are your thoughts on Alex Smith's great comeback that he's had with the Washington football team?
Alex has done a great job just rehabbing from the injury and just getting through it. Uh, he's had multiple surgeries and uh, multiple years to be able to rehab and be able to come back to for this exact moment. This is what he envisioned when he woke up from that first surgery. So it's been amazing to see how well he's been playing so far and him just taking advantage of an opportunity to be able to be that veteran leadership for a team that's just looking for any and all type of um, leadership and identity. So it's just been good to see him out there. Obviously, it's going to be a fun game for him to come back and play his former team, and hopefully, it goes well for him. And I know he was looking to come back to the Bay Area and be able to play in Levi Stadium. It would have been his first time, I think, playing at Levi Stadium. So it would have been, a good homecoming. But it is what it is, and he's playing good football. So it's been good to see him, playing so well.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on the Raiders Colts game coming up? This is going to be a huge one because I have to bring up Raiders. This is a Las Vegas outlet and everything like that. So, I'm just trying to figure out what are your thoughts on this upcoming game with the Raiders versus the Colts going against an old rival in old Philip Rivers, who was with the Chargers for so long as well too. So, what are your thoughts on this game, and what are the keys to victory for this?
Raiders Colts. I'm thinking, if it's Josh Jacobs going to play, I haven't looked into that game. I don't know the injury situations. You always, especially this year, you got to know the injury situations on these teams to see who's playing, because if you don't have Josh Jacobs, they're a different football team, and Trent Brown. So, I think with the Colts and their strength in running the football, and that's the weakness for the Raiders, especially with Jonathan Taylor. I can definitely see the Colts pulling this one off, even though the Raiders have been playing solid football these past 2 weeks. But I think matchup wise, the Colts end up pulling this one out, especially with the defense for the Colts playing so well.
Well, I have to agree with you on that one as well too. But there are some things working out in the Raiders' favor and everything like that. The Raiders look to the Raiders are looking really good from the notes that I have here. Well, they're a little middling right now, but they've done pretty well against teams over 500 as well this season. I think their biggest woes have came from being at home, just like the 49ers, who are 1-5 at home as well this season. So it's going to have to be a big effort from the Raiders come Sunday if they do want to get into the playoff hunt. But I do agree that the Colts do have a big edge here because, they really are rolling very well as well too. After that they got a big win on Thursday Night Football as well, and last week was a pretty huge victory for that team as well. And it seems that if Phillip Rivers has what it takes to pull out these close wins and everything like that, he has had a Hall of Fame career. So I do have to agree a bit with that he does, that the Colts do have the edge, but I do expect this to be one of the better games coming up on Sunday.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be, I remember watching a couple weeks ago. I did a show, and it was the Kansas City Raiders game, and they caught Jonathan Abrams at the end of the game. He was in cover four, and he got caught coming up trying to make a play on the Patrick Mahomes because he had scrambled outside of the pocket, and he threw it to Travis Kelsey, and they scored a touchdown in the game. So this week, especially if the Raiders are struggling with the run and he's in the box a little bit more, look for Phillip Rivers to take advantage of that and hit these tight ends and hit some guys on the back end with T.Y. Hilton. So look, hopefully Jonathan Abrams doesn't get too aggressive up there, because Phillip Rivers, the veteran, can definitely take advantage of it.
Okay, and let's get back to your division, the NFC West. Who do you have winning this division? It seems like it's going to be a very tight race between the Rams and the Seahawks. Who do you have winning at the end of the day, the division?
If anything, if anybody's going to win the division, it's either going to be Seattle or the Niners, possibly coming back and stealing it last second. But the Rams, they've been playing good football, but the Niners, took that series home, 2-0 this year. So, and then Arizona, depends on how they finish the season off. But I think the two best teams, when they're all fully healthy, and if the Niners do get Jimmy Garoppolo back and George Kittle back, I think the two best teams in the NFC West are the Seattle Seahawks and the 49ers.
And that's been pretty much the story of the pretty much most of the decade as well too. One of the better rivalries in the NFL as well. So pretty much you're saying that hopefully your 49ers, when we get down here to the final weeks of the season, that they can be playing for a playoff spot, possibly playing for the West Championship if it goes down to that degree, because they are coming like a little far from behind with the 5 and 7, and both those teams being Rams being 9-4 and the Seahawks being 8-4. So it's going to be a fun race, tight race. I would say that first you got to kind of dispose of Arizona, who's right there for the taking as well too, because they pretty much have not they haven't played good football at all since their bye week, and a lot of people won't notice that because they're so on level with what's going on with Kyler Murray. But yeah, Arizona's been struggling mightily, and I think that's the first team that San Francisco is going to have to really be taken out as well too. But it all starts Sunday as well too with the Redskins, who are probably playing their best football of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah. I definitely think the Redskins playing really good football, but you talk about the record of the Niners, they're like, oh, they got a lot to come back from. You look at the NFC East, where Dallas and Washington and the Giants and those teams over there. You still got a chance at especially with those records. Washington started the season out 0-4, 0-5, I think. So uh, you know, don't look at the record, but definitely the schedule set up for the Niners to, obviously take control of their own destiny, and they went out, these next two games, and you have those last two games in the NFC West. Look for those two games to be very pivotal.
And one last question. Uh, what is your words of advice, words of wisdom for people who are for maybe a young football player, college guy trying to be on the come up, getting to the NFL and everything like yourself? What would your message be to these players that maybe might have a little bit of a tough time getting drafted, but have the skills to pay the bills just like you did?
Whatever it is that you put your mind to. Obviously, for those guys who've gotten to that period of um, you know on the brink of turning to the professional side, you've gotten there for a reason, because you've worked hard, you've gotten through the adversities, you've been through the ups and downs, and you're about to step into that professional stage. So whatever happens, you know, if you get your name called or not, it is what it is. But this is what you worked hard for, to put really good film out there, while you're in college. So you can still get a chance, especially with everything going on right now. This isn't going to go away anytime soon. So, you're going into a situation where you're going to have more and more roster spots from these teams. So, always look, at at it as there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So, guys, just keep working hard and watch film and enjoy the moment. Obviously.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Ian. That's a wrap. This is a Vegas Sports Daily exclusive with your host, Jamil Brown, and our special guest, defensive lineman Ian Williams of the San Francisco 49ers, but also an analyst for NBC Bay Area as well, too. Thank you so much for your time, Ian.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Hopefully we'll be able to speak again.
Oh yeah, sounds good.
All right, man. Look forward to talking
All
to you
right,
in a few weeks. Maybe your 49ers will be right there in the thick of things.
man. I'm hoping so. It's gonna be fun if they do be able to pull this thing off.
All right. Beautiful stuff, man. Looking
All
forward
right,
to it. Can't wait to the game tomorrow.
all right. Stay safe.
All right. You do the same, sir.
All right.